Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a spiritual practice that's all about something you do, about 20,000 times a day: breathing. It's called Shwas o Shwas Bhajan, which basically means breath by breath meditation. We're going to get into why this super simple act is seen as a path to some pretty profound transformation, all based on these really powerful teachings. So the source material kicks things off with a pretty deep question. It asks us to think about our breath not just as air, but as a kind of currency, a priceless treasure. And like any treasure, you have to ask yourself, am I spending it wisely, or am I just letting it slip away? Before we jump into the how-to of it all, we've really got to understand the why. I mean, what's the real motivation to start a journey like this in the first place? Let's explore that quest. The teachings are super direct on this point. They say this life we have is this incredibly rare and very short window of opportunity for spiritual growth. The big risk? Getting so caught up in the daily grind, work, bills, all the distractions, that we miss the chance entirely. And the fear is looking back at the end of it all with this heavy sense of regret, thinking, wow, I missed it. And to really drive this point home, the teachings use this incredible story. Picture a king, right? Powerful, proud, totally wrapped up in his own ego. And he completely forgets his spiritual side. The result? He's reborn as an elephant, now serving some other king, and his mind is just filled with regret for the human life he totally wasted. It's a really stark reminder of what's at stake. Okay, so with that sense of urgency in mind, let's actually get into the path itself. What exactly is this practice we're talking about? At its heart, this is a completely silent internal practice. This is not about chanting out loud for everyone to hear. It's all about turning your awareness inward and attaching a sacred name or mantra to the natural rhythm of your breath, creating this constant, personal, internal conversation with the divine. And the teachings make a really important distinction here. You can think of jop or vocal chanting as kind of the warm-up act. It's an external practice. But the main event, the real essence of it all, is sumuran, that silent internal remembrance. The focus shifts from the sound you're making with your mouth to the actual feeling inside, that deep, personal connection that happens breath by breath. Now, this next point is something the source material is really, really clear on. This is not a do-it-yourself project. To navigate this inner world, a guide is presented as being absolutely essential. So according to these teachings, a Sadguru does a lot more than just give you a set of instructions. They're the one who gives you two absolutely critical things: the specific divine name or mantra you're supposed to meditate on, and, just as important, the correct technique, the yukti, for how to actually do it. It's like they hand you the key and show you exactly which lock it fits. And this quote just nails that idea perfectly. You see those two key parts right there? The name and the correct technique. The very first thing is to show reverence to the master, the Gurudev, because they're the one who gives you both the what and the how to unlock all this inner potential. All right, so we've got the why, the what, and the who. Now for the part you've probably been waiting for, the how. Let's look at the foundational steps for actually starting this practice, as laid out in the teachings. The whole path starts with building a really strong foundation. First up, you have asan and sanyam. That just means finding a steady, comfortable posture and practicing a bit of self-control, basically creating a calm, stable space for yourself, both physically and mentally. Then you move on to swas and surat. This is where you bring your focus to the simple, natural flow of your breath, and you aim your inner attention, your consciousness, inward. And finally, that leads you to Shabd and Nirat. You meditate on that divine word from the Guru until you become totally absorbed in it, moving past just concentrating and into a state where you and the practice are one. Okay, so you've built that foundation. The practice is getting deeper. What happens next? What's the journey actually like on the inside? This is where it gets really interesting, because this is presented as a path of direct experience, not just blind faith. As you go deeper, the teachings say you'll start to have these anubhutyan, these personal inner proofs that you're on the right track. This could be feeling energy centers in your body activating, or hearing this beautiful inner sound, they call it an unstruck melody, or even seeing a brilliant inner light. And this quote, wow, it captures one of the most profound experiences described, an inner light that's as bright as infinite suns. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't about just imagining something. It's described as a direct internal perception that just appears as the practice matures. So after the practice and the journey and all these inner experiences, where is all this headed? What's the ultimate goal here?
let's talk about the final destination.
The final destination is called moksha, or liberation. The best way to think about it is like a single drop of water returning to the vast ocean. The Atma, that's your individual soul, merges back into the Paramatma, the huge universal consciousness. That feeling of being separate just dissolves. And when that happens, the whole cycle of birth and death is said to just end.
And here is the absolute game changer. This is not about waiting for some prize you get after you die. The teachings talk about GTG moksha, which means liberation while you are still living. It's a state of deep peace and incredible freedom that's described as being totally attainable right here, right now, in this body.
And that brings us right back to where we started. This whole incredible journey, from realizing the value of your time all the way to the ultimate goal of liberation, it all comes down to that one simple thing, your breath. So the path's been laid out. The only real question left is, where will your next breath take you?